All right, so who would make a better elf on the shelf? Take a look at Jason first. And then Kyle up there in the machine. Kyle, look out the door for a minute. I don't know. I'm thinking Kyle, because I think you would make a definite better Claus. All right, so today we are starting another recreation pond, and we are in Westerlo, New York, and right in this section is a patio. So this is going to be pretty adjacent to the patio. We're just going to have a little bit of buffer. There'll be some slab stones here to transition into the pond, stepping stones on this side, and then we got it marked out. This is a 25 by 18 with a maximum depth of 4 feet. We're going to have the majority of it 4 feet and then transition up to a small section of 3 and then 2, just to accommodate those steps. Over in here, we're going to have that bog wetland area. Far end over here is going to be our skim cove. This is all the outside. The blue is all the outside of the pond excavation, and then rocks in there. There's the skim cove all the way back over into here. Everything is marked out, so when the guys get here tomorrow, they know the depth. 4 feet there, 4 feet here. 3 foot section is going to be right there, and then going back to 2 feet. All right, so we are out in Westerlo, which is close to Burn, and it's always super rocky. So what we're gonna have to do here is, this first shelf is 2 foot deep. We're actually gonna go anywhere from 26 to 27 inches. So we have a little bit extra padding. We are using rock pad here, but we still wanna make sure that all these rocks and stuff we wanna make sure that all these rocks do not cause a problem to our liner. We actually have sand rolling in a little bit. It should be here in another hour, and then we'll be able to pad this before we put our rock pad in.
So day 2 at this rec pond we're working on in Westerlo. Our plan today is to install this under drain. We'll get that away from the pond so it's not near the edge. We'll get that in. We'll finish padding the sides and the bottom of this with sand. We'll be putting rock pad down to pad even more. Pad the liner, keep it safe. We'll be installing liner. Rock is going to be delivered today. So we will be rocking this pond by the end of today. We're at the end of day 2 here. We had rock delivered around 2 o'clock. We are just finishing up for the day. Kyle's putting some tools away over there. Zach is unstrapping the last rock that we set today. How do you think today went, Zach?
I think it went pretty well. We actually ended up setting quite a few rocks, so.
Good. Did you learn anything today?
Yeah. When we were setting the liner over there and we had to lay it in with only 3 guys, we ended up actually folding it all together and then strapping it up and using the excavator to set it down in here and then unfolded it. So
went pretty easy?
Yeah.
Good.
Definitely better than lifting it in there.
For sure. Glad you learned something today. It's always good. This is what we have at the end of day 2. So that's all I got for today.
Good morning, everyone. It's the start of day 5 here at this rec pond in Westerlo, and over here you can see our steps that we got in on day 3. Yesterday we kind of continued around and got all this side brought up to grade. Kind of stopped over here in this corner for a little bit, so we have this awesome jump rock on the back of our truck right there. You don't think you're going to be jumping into 4 feet of water, but it's an awesome sit rock, lay out in the sun, enjoy it. Over here we're going to start our area for the intake bay and finish wrapping around, tucking the edges all around this side, and finish working our plumbing and everything else on this side for the day. We got our wetland that's going to go in back there. That's got to get dug a little after, and that's the plan for today.
All right, so we always incorporate a jump rock, and we found this one not too far from where we're working. Look at all the fossil and stuff in it. It's gonna be super cool when most of this is underwater. So right now we gotta get ready to get our jump rock fitted in here. So what that means is we have enough liner in this corner that we gotta peel the liner back, dig back in there so we can set that stone. Then the liner will go to the back side of that. It's also gonna help flank our skim cove area so that water will draw right through there with a nice current. All right, we got our jump rock in, and we got it cantilevered over there, so it's just going to crest over the other rocks. So if you wanted to jump in from that point, you got a clear span. But right now, it's time to get ready for our skim cove. Our skim cove is actually where all the debris is going to go and where our pump suction is going to be for this recreation pond. All right, so our skim cove is all marked out. Basically what we're going to do is we want it to come right off the edge of that pond, and then we're going to draw the water down through this way, and this is where our suction point, where our vault is going to be, and our piping is going to go right down in there so it can draw the water through and create a current. So what we're using for our suction is a pondless waterfall vault, and what's nice about that is the aqua block can sit right on top of that foot. We will bring our suction in from the back and then go down to the bottom. There'll be a check valve assembly in there, so it's very easy to winterize this. You can break the check valve loose and then be able to blow that line out towards the pump. Right in this little foot is going to be in the middle of our area, so that way it's surrounded by aqua blocks and there's no possible way it can crush.
Good morning, everyone. It's start of day 6 here at this rec pond in Westerlo. We got our pond rocked yesterday, finished rocking everything. Got our awesome jump rock in. Look at that, that's sweet. Alright, as we work our way over, we got some rocks in our skim cove. Started out by getting our rock pad and sand in to protect the liner. Got our aqua blocks down, vault set, and started rocking. Plans for today, we're going to finish skimming out all the sod over in this area over here and bring everything up to grade and tuck all these edges.
So once again, we have one of these fine pieces of ground that has very little rock in it, right, Kyle?
Oh, little to none.
So So actually what we did again is we overdug all this, especially that trough where all the snorkel and centipede got to go. Right now we're just going to rake it out, and then we're going to be able to put 3 to 4 inches of sand over this entire wetland area just to help protect our liner. Even though we have rock pad, we just want that extra assurance, just like we did with the whole pond.
Good morning, everybody. We are at this recreation pond out in Westerlo still, and it is a cold morning. I don't know if you can tell, but these leaves are actually frozen in the little amount of water we got from the rain the other day.
All right, so we are back in Westerlo, New York today, and there is snow on the ground. When we finished this up, it was getting cold, the weather wasn't so great, the water was cloudy, so today we came back to close it down. Jason and Andrew are gonna go through it with the client about how to close this recreation pond down, and I'm gonna do a little walkthrough for you. So let's check this out. So this was our whole access point that we cleaned all up. We got straw in there and we seeded the lawn. In the spring, I'm sure it's gonna have to be touched up. But let's go over into this section over here. Not only do we have snow, but we got a little bit of ice on the pond, which is kind of cool because I have never been able to do a finished product video when there's snow on the ground, so it kind of gives you a whole different element. Usually things are lush and green, but it's kind of cool and it's different. So right now our skim cove is pulling everything all down into here. Some of the leaves and stuff are starting to collect in there, and then over in here is our waterfall. Now I'm thinking that one of our pipes has started to freeze up a little bit because that is actually not as much flow as we had when we left, but it's been extremely cold up here. It's been in the 20s, and there could be some partial freezing on this, but that's all part of it. So in the spring, we'll come up here and shoot it again. But down in this section, this is where our destination rock is, jump rock, whatever you might want to call it. But now you can actually see down into the pond. It's still a little bit cloudy, but it's got to be because of the rain and the snow and everything else, but it's kind of got a cool hue to it. Over in here, for the time being, until they do a patio, we actually put that crushed stone, so it gives it that nice clean look because everything is super close and interactive over to here. So over in this section is where our slab steps are, coming right up and transitioning up to the upper patio area. So these steps go right down in and transition nice and easily down into the bottom. Here's our waterfall area right here. And again, the only reason that we did this waterfall so low right here is because behind us is that patio, so it's really close proximity. So we wanted a more serene sound more than this crashing and banging type waterfall, which is cool in its own sense, but for this, it just didn't work out. Then in the back, we made it look like an extension. So back over in here, we have some really big boulders set, and we'll go check that out. So this is our whole wetland area. So we have aquatic plants in there right now, and they're all hardy. So what'll happen is they're gonna start to die off, they'll go dormant, and then they'll come back in the spring. So over here, we actually created this little area back in. So if somebody wanted to sit on this big rock, they could, and dangle their feet down into the water. And then we have this whole area of water behind us. So it just looks like that stream kind of coming back down and around and back over into here. but I really like how this came out, and I like how that waterfall is nice and serene and quiet. We also have another destination rock right here where you can walk in slowly. Maybe you can just sit down. They have some grandkids that can sit at this slab rock kind of as a bench and dangle your feet in there. And then you can transition back down into the water. And then over in here, we did some really big outcroppings, and the reason we did outcroppings is she does a phenomenal job of planting her perennials, and this is allowing spots for things to creep and be planted and all that good stuff over into here.